It began with a whisper in the wind, a voice too faint to make out, but unmistakably there. I was sitting on my porch one evening, watching the sunset over the empty fields, when I heard it, soft, almost like a hum. It was strange. No one lived near me. The nearest house was miles away. The voice was calm, as if it knew me, but when it whispered my name, my stomach dropped. Ava, I haven't slept since 2023, not a single night. And that evening was when I realized something had begun that would never let me rest again. I moved to this isolated farmhouse 2 years ago, seeking peace away from the noise of the city. The village I settled in was small, surrounded by dense forests and long, empty roads. People here were friendly, mostly farmers who worked their land in silence, quiet, predictable until it wasn't. It was a few months after I'd moved in when things began. I'd gotten used to the creaking of the house, the sounds of the wind rustling through the trees, and the constant chirping of crickets at night. It felt like the perfect place to escape the world. But that evening, the air felt different. I had just finished dinner and was sitting on the porch, staring at the darkening sky. The wind picked up, and then came that whisper again. It was so faint at first I thought I was imagining it, but then it came again, clearer this time. Ava, come inside. I stood up. The hairs on the back of my neck prickled. I couldn't see anyone, but the voice seemed to be coming from somewhere just beyond the trees, as if it was close, yet far enough to be impossible to pinpoint. I walked inside, locking the door behind me, but the feeling of being watched only grew stronger. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my eyes wide open. The house was silent, too silent. The wind had died down, and the normal sounds of the night had ceased. It was then that I heard it again, a soft knock on the window. I sat up, my heart thumping in my chest. The knock came again, louder this time. I slowly crept out of bed, heart racing. The window was too high up for anyone to be standing outside it, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was there, watching me. I grabbed a flashlight and moved cautiously toward the window. I hesitated before pulling the curtains back. My breath held. When I finally peeked outside, there was nothing at all. The field was dark, with only the faint outline of the trees swaying in the breeze. But then, just as I was about to turn away, I saw it, a figure, just at the edge of the woods, standing still. Its shape was blurry, like a shadow that didn't quite belong. I blinked, and it was gone. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I went to town, trying to tell myself it was just my imagination. But something about the way the villagers looked at me, their eyes avoiding mine, made me feel unsettled. One old woman who lived near the edge of the village stopped me as I was leaving the general store. "You're not from here, are you?" she asked. Her voice was low, almost conspiratorial. "You need to be careful. The woods are no place for outsiders." I didn't ask her to elaborate, but the look in her eyes sent a chill through me. The next few days were more of the same. The whispering voice grew louder, the knocking on my windows more frequent. Each time, the figure in the distance would appear, only to vanish when I looked directly at it. Then, one night, the knocking didn't stop. It went on for hours, relentless. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was just the wind, but when the moon rose high in the sky, I knew I couldn't hide from it any longer. I had to see what was out there. I grabbed my flashlight again and stepped outside. The air was thick, heavy with an eerie silence. I shone the light toward the woods, and there it was, it standing at the tree line, just like the last time. But this time, it was closer. I froze. This wasn't a person. This wasn't something that belonged in the world I knew. It was tall, its limbs twisted and unnatural, its face a blur of shadow, but I could feel it staring at me. And then I heard it again, that voice, closer now, in my ear. "Come to me, Eva." I turned and ran back inside, slamming the door behind me. The knocking continued, louder, as if something was trying to get inside. My heart was racing as I pressed my back to the door, but the moment the knock stopped, I heard something else. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the attic. I bolted up the stairs, not sure what I was looking for, but knowing that whatever it was up there, waiting. I swung open the attic door, expecting to find a mess of old boxes and dust. But the attic was empty, except for a single old mirror standing against the far wall. The glass reflected nothing but darkness. But as I stared at it, I saw a figure standing behind me, tall, shadowy, with its face hidden in the dark. The moment I turned, it was gone, but I knew then it was real. Whatever it was following me, and it wouldn't stop. I haven't slept since that night. The whispers are louder now. The figure gets closer each time. And the worst part? I know it's waiting for me to fall asleep. Maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for you too. If you've ever heard strange whispers in the night or felt something in the darkness, check out my other stories. There's more where this one came from. And trust me, you might not want to sleep tonight either.